Hello everyone and welcome along to round 18 of the SRL PS4 World Championship here from Mexico City. It's the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. I hope my Spanish was okay there, but yes, welcome along. It's round 18 of the World Championship, and boy oh boy, what a World Championship we have shaping up here at the moment. What an opportunity it was for Shimasi, the championship leader last time out when we went to Monaco, to really start to extend his championship advantage with Pitmat not turning up. But unfortunately, Shimasi was unable to do that. He crashed out of that Monaco Grand Prix, and that leaves him with just a 13-point lead advantage at the top of the Drivers' Championship. He leads from Pitmat, 221 points, plays 208, then a 40-point gap to Ash Richardson, who still does theoretically still have a chance at this World Championship, but his chances pretty much fading, and he'll struggle to keep them alive after this Grand Prix. He really needs to win and hope for the best and keep himself at least 50 points behind those guys ahead. But while you're still in it, there's always an opportunity, but I think it's going to be very tough for Ash. 40 points back. Then out of the championship battle now, Matt Meerkat in 4th place outside of that. Well, not out of it yet, but he will be after this race, you would feel. Skeven in 5th place in the standings, then Cherry 2 Pie 6th. He's been in some great form of late, winning brilliantly in Monaco and really starting to climb up those standings. Chris is next, and then Julian, who joined late. Redman, OTG and Diego Killer rounding out the top few places. And it's interestingly, Diego Killer that's on pole at the moment. He's on top with Chicken in 2nd, around 110, separating those guys. Pitmat, Julian, Cherry 2 Pie 10, Shimasi 7th, Skeven 8th, OTG 9th, and Jacob is 10th. Most of the cars actually in the pits at the moment. Ash Richardson, I see, has retired from this qualifying session, as has Lamaro. So all the drivers out there are in the pits, apart from Chicken, who's on the track in the Sauber, a late joiner as well. But on his day, he's got some serious pace in him. And what can the Sauber car do here today in Mexico? Obviously down with a little bit of power with 2016 Ferrari in the back of that car, but helped a little bit by the high altitude, the engine, the thin air, making it very, very hard for the engines to work. Maybe potentially a little equaliser there for Chicken in that Sauber. But this is the highest Grand Prix from sea level on the calendar by quite some margin, so it will affect overtaking. The slipstream won't be as high in the race because of the thin air. And here we go then, Chicken heading down into that first corner, the longest run actually on the calendar, down into the first corner, so expect some drama at the start tomorrow as Chicken heads through that first corner now. The back end stepping out a little bit, turn 2 and 3 all coming at you very quickly. It can all get very tight and very easy for a few bumps going through those first few corners at the start of the Grand Prix. That's probably one of the better overtaking opportunities on the track. This is another into turn 4, and so many fans out in the grandstands here in Mexico City this weekend, and they've sold out year after year after year, and it's incredible. It's great to see. I mean, there's been a lot of Grand Prix that have went to racetracks where really there's no real buzz for it, there's no desire for Formula 1, but here in Mexico City that cannot be said. And look at Chicken flying through that middle sector of the lap. It really, really does test how good the aerodynamic performance is on your car, that middle sector. As I was talking about, look at this stadium section, it's quite magnificent. It's like a football ground in there. It is actually an old baseball stadium. As Chicken now comes round the final corner and heads for the start finish line. A 1:15.8 is best. He now goes fastest, a 1:15.333. 2.5 minutes to go in this session, and look at that, a fantastic effort from Chicken. He raises the bar slightly, and yes, he's the man to beat. Can Diego Killer or Pitmat hunt him down? Fantastic effort there from Chicken in the Sauber, and as you can see, most of the field out there that have set a solid lap time on the Ultra Softs as Chicken now retires from the session. So what about Diego Killer? He finishes a lap and does a 1:15.7. Not quite close enough to knock Chicken off. Here we go then, up towards this first corner. What can he do this time? The McLaren Honda usually struggles in a straight line, but on equal performance it should be not too bad, I wouldn't have thought. Through that first corner now, down into turn 2 and 3. What can Diego Killer do? Can he dip underneath that 1:15.5 set by Chicken and put himself onto pole position? Hitting the brakes. Has he backed out of the lap a little bit? Possibly. Yeah, I think he has a bit backed out of this one. So he does Pitmat on a slow one, winding himself up for a quick run. He'll be hoping. 13 points, remember, behind Shimasi in the championship, with Shimasi only 7th at the moment. It would be a great chance here to really apply the pressure in the closing moments of qualifying. A 13-point deficit going into this one between Pitmat and Shimasi in the standings. And there he is, moving aside for Diego Killer. Well, Diego Killer, Shimasi's teammate, play a major factor in this World Championship battle. Well, he's up in 2nd place at the moment as he comes towards the end of a lap. And of course, I think this is a slow one. He's coming back to the pits. Pitman about to wind one up. Skeven starting one as well. He's gone up into 4th place with a 1:16 flat. Julian drops to 5th. Here is Julian coming round the final couple of corners in that Red Bull up towards the start line. He goes for the shortest route and he goes quickest. 1:15.366. Where did that come from? And Julian pops to the top of the timesheets. The Dutch driver delivers. Finally, what an effort that is. Can anyone knock the surprise pole setter off the top? Diego Killer, his fellow countryman, is on another lap. Pitmat heads through the first corner. The World Championship challenger, where is Shimasi? Only a 19.2 by him. And at the moment, his championship is starting to toil here. It's falling apart. Julian and Chicken have seen the line. Tyne now sees the line and goes 4th quickest. And a 1:15.9 by him. Quite a tight field here. Who can move up in the closing moments of this session? Here goes Diego Killer, 1/10 up on his current best. Is he going to move himself up onto that front row here? Here goes the McLaren down towards that final sector. And this very tricky corner, that's so easy to run wide, and Diego Killer does just that. Cherry Tupai now moves up into 5th, a 1:59, the winner last time out, not showing the same pace and same promise here. What about Diego Killer and that McLaren? He rounds the final corner, he heads up towards the line, and he goes 2nd, just a 10th shy of Julian. Still no one unable to beat Julian. What about Pitman? He's well down. He's well down and he's 6th quickest at the moment. He's failed to take advantage of Shimasi's struggles. What of Shimasi's struggles? He's 1 second up on his current best, coming round the final few corners. Is he going to salvage a super qualifying from this, or a reasonable one at the very least? Jacob goes up into 7th place at the end. And here comes Shimasi, only 9th at the moment. And he stays, no, he goes 3rd. He goes 3rd. Good effort from Shimasi. And he tightens his grip on the World Championship with that one. But the real story here of qualifying is that Julian has put the Red Bull on pole for a first ever SRL pole position. Julian 2:3.95, brilliant effort. He takes the pole position here in Mexico. Can he carry it over into tomorrow's race? Fantastic effort from him. He is the start of qualifying and he wins the session. He's on top in the qualifying session, and Diego Killer nearly got him at the end but was just a 10th shy, and it promises to be a thrilling race tomorrow. Quite a lot of drivers raising their game here, and it's a Dutch 1-2. It's Julian on top with Diego Killer alongside him on that front row. Then it's the other McLaren of Shimasi in 3rd. You've got to feel he's got a real opportunity to extend that championship advantage tomorrow. Chicken sits in 4th in the Sauber. Solid effort from him, only a 10th and a bit separating those top 4 drivers. Then we've got a little bit gap back. Tyne in 5th position. Cherry Tupai, the winner last time out, only 6th. Pitmat, his championship fading unless he improves tomorrow in 7th. Jacob 8th, Stephen 9th, and OTG rounds out the top 10. Well, look at this. Rain has greeted us here in Mexico City, and the championship potentially could take another twist today as a result of this weather. I woke up from my commentary box this morning, and I'm sure many of the drivers woke up this morning and saw this and couldn't quite believe their eyes. Unbelievable, and a little bit of rain to dampen the Mexican spirit, but I can tell you, will not dampen things on the racetrack. This promises to be a fantastic race. Can Julian convert a first ever SRL pole into a first ever SRL victory? It might have seemed a little bit more straightforward yesterday, but this rain will not help him. It's a long run to turn 1. Is he able to use that long run and hold on with the several cars hunting him down? We'll find out then. The lights are going on. The race start is moments away. Lights out in Mexico. Julian away from Paul. Slowly they move away. Is he getting away okay? He is away, not too bad. Diego Keller trying to get alongside him as they all flash down towards that first corner. Shimasi in third, getting a great slipstream. They've got a yellow flag. I'm not sure why. I can't see for the wall of spray as they go four right into the first corner. Julian holds the lead. Shimasi up at the second, and they go side by side. Is Julian just about holding on? He is. Julian leads the way. Cherry Tupai is out already. Through all the spray, we can barely see a thing. Let's have a quick look. Oh, we got a huge accident down there. Cherry Tupai well in the wall, and his race is over. Flying high last week, out of the Grand Prix this week, and it's game over from him as we go back to the front. Shimasi has made a move on Julian, unseen by us, down at turn 4 and 5. So Shimasi, the championship leader, really delivering at the start of this race. He leads from Julian second. Diego Keller is third. He's got a huge train behind him. Tyne and Pitmat running very wide as well. That hurts Pitmat quite extremely there. And somebody running wide. That's Jacob as well running off. And this is a disaster for Pitmat. He's sixth at the moment. Shimasi in the lead. And his World Championship chances are dangling by a thread. But there's a long way to go as Skeven gets involved further down. We've got Enrico with a little bit of front wing damage there. We've got a huge lunge, a silly lunge from Lenny. He pushes Jacob off the track. Enrico's in the wall in the background. Absolute chaos. And that's the second Haas out of the Grand Prix, and we've barely even done 2.5 miles. Oh dearie me, both Haases out of the Grand Prix already, and Enrico and Gene Haas can forget about it and pack up and go home, because that is a complete disaster of a weekend for them. And as you can see, everyone out there on the intermediate tyres. Shimasi leading, Julian second, Chick in third, Diego Keller in fourth. And let's have a quick look at that position change off the start. Shimasi, the dream start for the championship leader, moves a full 2 places up from his third place starting position. I did say before the race started, a real chance to slipstream down into turn 1, and Shimasi's used that to perfection. He used it into turn 1 to get past his teammate, and then did the same on Julian into turn 4. So Shimasi leads, Julian second, down 1 place obviously, Chicken down, up 1 to third. Diego Keller had a bit of a nightmare down 2. Tyne is still in his 5th position. Pitman up 1 to 6, but he won't be pleased in the grand scheme of things, because of course out in the lead is his championship rival Shimasi. Then it is Skeven in 6th, who's running very wide. They are really struggling in that Ferrari to get any sort of rhythm in these damp conditions at the moment. Then it's Matt Meerkats in 8th position, Jacob 9th. Looney going side by side with Jacob and going past Jacob. Those two colliding moments ago on the previous lap, and Looney moves ahead of Jacob up into 9th place. Jacob 10th, OTG is 11th, Ash Richardson 12th, GG 13th, Lamaro is 14th, and very last of all at the back. Meanwhile, Enrico and Cherry Tupai both crashing out on that opening lap. A forgettable weekend for the Haas boys, but in the lead it is Shimasi and Julian. They're starting to pull away a little bit from Chicken in that 3rd place. Diego Keller in 4th and Tyne in 5th. Now, Skeven's come into the pits already. Why is that? Has Skeven retired? Yeah, he has. Skeven seemingly had enough and has decided to retire from the race. He does love a retirement, Skeven. I don't know the reason for this one, but I'm sure he'll find one. And Skeven is out of the Grand Prix before it's barely begun. So, Shimasi opening that gap out to a second as we got a yellow flag out there. Who's that? I guess just maybe Skeven's car dropping down. But out in front, Shimasi now in the net lead of this Grand Prix and looking good to extend his championship gap. Lap 3 out of 36 at the moment. If it was to stay this way, his gap would go up quite significantly. Currently 13 points. What we're looking at here, Pitmat's on 8 points right now for this. Shimasi's on 25, so what's that? A 17-point gain. So it would make the championship gap around 30 points, and that really is almost unassailable. For Pitmat. It would take a miracle really for Shimasi to throw the championship away. So Pitmat needs to keep fighting. He needs to get himself at the very least, you would think, up into that 2nd place, but at the moment it's not happening for him. Let's go and ride on board with Pitmat. At the moment he can see 4th quite clearly. He needs to clear Tyne first. The 2 Dutch drivers right in front of him, Diego Keller and Tyne. Which of these two will prove to be the tougher customer for Pitman as they go round the final corner onto the 4th lap of this Grand Prix, and his championship chances fading by the second here as Tyne has a little look at Diego Keller. We did say in the race, in qualifying I should say, it was very difficult to overtake on this racetrack because of how high up they are, the altitude and the DRS is not that affected, the slipstream is not that affected because of the thin air, and it makes it even harder in these conditions when there's no DRS either, and of course a wall of spray as well for Tyne and Pitmat. But Pitmat getting closer, trying to line up Tyne, trying to find a way through. Is there any way he can manufacture a manoeuvre in this middle sector? It is single file by and large through this middle sector, as you're about to see, as they go through that stadium-like section, one of two areas in the track that's replicate a sort of stadium section, and the fans in the grandstand really enjoying this one despite the damp conditions, not dampening their spirits too much, as Pitmat continues to shadow Tyne as they go through this middle sector, and as I said, pretty much single file, and Pitmat running a little bit wide. They're getting on the curb. You do not want to be doing that in these damp conditions, as it is very, very easy to find yourself going for a spin. But at the moment, no way through for Pitmat, as the fans in the grandstands cheering him on and hope for the best. They want to see a championship battle go right to the wire as much as we do. But Shimasi now opening that lead out front, as you can see on your left hand side, to over 2 seconds, or around that 2 second mark I should say. And Julian unable to respond to that searing pace set by Shimasi. But what about Pitmat? Has he finally got a bit of a toe here and a chance to make a move on Tyne into turn 1? We cut away. Let's go back to Pitmat going into turn 1. Is he going to make a late lunge? He kind of needs to. He's got a championship to try and battle for, and he dances past Tyne with no problem at all. Very courageous on the brakes. Beautiful move. And Pitmat makes light work of Tyne and moves up into 5th place, or does he? Because Tyne now picks up the slipstream and tries to come straight back at the Toro Rosso going down into turn 4. Can he find a way past? Doesn't look like it, and it looks like Pitmat has completed that move, and Tyne has got to settle for 6th place at the moment. Lovely stuff from Pitmat. Gauged it well. Very tricky in these conditions. You can barely see ahead of you apart from that red flashing light, which you can see on board with Tyne now as you approach the corner at turn 1. And of course, not only that, you've got offline trying to dive up the inside of someone. It could be standing water sitting there on the waiting to catch you out, but Pitmat measured it beautifully on the brakes, and through he went up into 5th place. His next target is Diego Killer in 4th position, and is he going to be able to get a move made on Diego Killer as Enrico leaves the session, leaves the paddock and heads home after a bit of a disastrous weekend for the Haas team. So Cherry Tupai, remember, he retired in the first corner incident, as Shimasi sets a brand new fastest lap of the race, opening his gap out to 2.5 seconds, and Cherry Tupai will not be too pleased with that. I mean, last time out, a masterclass, a really beautiful performance to go on and win the Monaco Grand Prix, and yeah, unfortunately he's out before it's barely began here today, as Pitmat gets ever closer. This looks like the best battle on track, the most entertaining little scrap at the moment, with Julian now 2.8 seconds off that lead and checking 2 seconds further back. Diego Killer really trying to hold Pitmat back. Is Pitmat going to have a look up the inside? Yes, he is. Pitmat, he drives up the inside of Diego Killer. Slight contact between the two, but Pitmat looks like he's pulled off another super move. 1 lap ago he got Tyne. The following lap he gets Diego Killer. The two Dutch drivers have been overtaken, and Pitmat now moves up into 4th place and does his World Championship revival start here, up into 4th position. Now, what can he do about Chicken, Julian and Shimasi? Beautiful stuff. And he climbs up into 4th place, and the Toro Rosso mechanics really enjoyed that. Beautiful move. And is he now on his way into that podium position as the two cars behind go side by side? Diego Killer and Tyne battling in the background. Is Tyne going to now pass Diego Killer? He tries around the outside. Did he go off the track to complete the move as we now lose the action? Back we go. Tyne, is he going to go side by side? The fans in the grandstands here at the baseball stadium absolutely loving it. Side by side still. Tyne looks to be ahead and moves up into 5th position. Diego drops to 6th. 2 places lost in the matter of a lap. And that is not at all what the McLaren driver or the McLaren fans wanted to see. Diego Killer relegated now to 6th position. And his race is unravelling here. Is he going to come back at Tyne into turn 1? He tries a late lunge. Pardon me, tries a late lunge, locks their fronts up and is unable to find a way through and remains in that 6th position. But now Tyne got a little bit of curb there. Is this an opportunity for Diego Killer to come back at him? It looks like he's got a great run. They're going to go side by side. into the breaking point of turn 4. He's going to triangle right round the outside. That looks like a beautiful move. They're banging wheels. Not so beautiful now, a bit more scrappy, but Diego Keller won't care because he's going to do it, is he? Round the outside, trying to cling on, but the two Dutch drivers, no love lost between the two, and it looks like Diego Keller has finally completed the move. Has he? No, he's not. Tyne keeps himself in that 5th place. What a battle this is. Great stuff here in Mexico, and Tyne gets his elbows out and says, I'm the #1 Dutchman in this battle, and holds on to that 5th place. Julian will be listening and saying, no, I'm the #1 Dutchman, I'm up in 2nd position here. But brilliant stuff between these two, and Tyne holds on to 5th, and Diego Keller will have to try something else. Great battle, good racing between the pair of them, and somehow it remains Tyne 5th and Diego Keller 2nd. And as we speak about Dutchman, what about we talk about Julian, who's just set a brand new fastest lap of the race, 2.9 now, off the lead of Shimasi. Can he try and come back at him in the next couple of laps? Let's have a little look at the telemetry. And as you can see, Julian minus 0.9 on the fuel, so he's going to have to do some fuel saving. Shimasi, stark contrast, plus 2.5. So almost as if Shimasi is managing this. He's got it all under control, like he did in the USA a few weeks ago. And looks like he's just going to stroke this one home as Lamaro moves out the way to get a lap put on him by Shimasi. And Julian also does the same, and as well Chicken and Pitman, who's now breaking away from Tyne, who's continuing his battle with Diego Keller at the moment. So Pitman, can he now close in on Chicken and really start to threaten these guys up ahead? Let's maybe for the next couple of laps have the gap to the leader showing up and see if Pitman is at all closing in on the lead, because of course there is a long way to go in this race. 36 laps, and there is still 28 to go, and a lot can happen in that time. The weather can change drastically, drivers could make mistakes on tyre choice, so it was very easy as well to put the car on the wall, and as we've seen with both Haas cars, very, very easy to do indeed. Is Pitmat now 9.8 off the lead. We'll monitor that over the next few laps to see if he can close in, but at the moment Julian is the fastest man out there. 2 successive fastest laps. He dips the gap to the leader to 2.3 seconds. It was up at 3 seconds a few laps ago, but now 2.2. It's coming down, and this Shimasi going to be under some pressure in the next few laps. Pitmat will be hoping so, because he's desperate for Pitmat. Pitman's desperate for Shimasi to drop points, and that is really, really what he needs here today. So Shimasi still in the lead, 2.2 the gap between the front two, then Chicken and then Pitman. And this time now breaking away from Diego Keller, it looks like it. He's got the gap out to 1.5 seconds, and things are getting a little bit more tricky for Tyne in that 5th position. Sorry, for Diego Keller in 6th, I should say. And is Matt Meerkat starting to close. He's a good bit further back, and it's almost like he's in a race of his own at the moment, Matt Meerkat, as Looney and Jacob starting to get quite close together on the racetrack as well now. Oh, we've got a real error there by Shimasi. They're going side by side. Shimasi must have made a mistake, and listen to the noise down in the grandstand section. Shimasi overtaken for the lead by Julian. The fans on their feet, and the Flying Dutchman takes the lead. Springs a surprise and is into the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix, and all of a sudden, first pole in qualifying yesterday, and all of a sudden a first race win could be on the cards here. Shimasi must have made an error, and Julian flies past, much to the joy of the fans in the grandstand. Down at that stadium section, you sometimes wonder, why do they build a huge grandstand or have a piece of racetrack like that where a huge grandstand is? But there you go. It's proved that you can overtake down there. Single file is all I've seen over the years, but there you go. Julian finds another place to go past Shimasi and takes the lead away. And it's Chicken getting back into this now. Who's seen that coming? Shimasi must have made a major mistake, and now Julian walks through the door and moves up into the lead of this Mexican Grand Prix. Absolutely brilliant for the neutrals watching. And where will this race go from here? But if you're watching, let us know in the comments. Is Julian going to be able to hold out for a famous win here in Mexico, or is it all about Shimasi? What about Chicken? Is he now back in the battle? It certainly looks like it, particularly if Julian can hold Shimasi back for a while. As he goes dancing down towards that final sector once again. And Julian doing a fine job. And Shimasi now tries to retaliate. Julian running a little bit wide there, and he felt the rear end was trying to come round on him. As Shimasi now begins to line him up as he got the straight line speed in that McLaren to make a move down into turn 1. Here we go. Down the start finish straight. Shimasi trying to use the slipstream. He's in rich fuel mix. You can see that there. Plus 2.38 is his fuel. What about Julian? He's in rich fuel and in lean now. Look at it. Minus 0.8. He's going to have to save fuel at some point. He is vulnerable to Shimasi. But at the moment, there is no way through for the World Championship leader and the champion-elect. The news of Shimasi dropping to second has been greeted brilliantly by Pitman. He's absolutely loving hearing that. He's running in 4th at the moment. Can he get back into this battle though? Gap to the leader now for Pitman, only 7.7. He is catching as Shimasi tries a move on Julian. He's going to have a better exit out of the corner. And look at this, dicing brilliantly. This is fantastic to watch. Absolutely edge of the seat stuff. Dicing and diving on each other, going through this that tight section of 4, 5 and 6, and now into this swooping middle sector where it is pretty much single file. Julian in the lead, Shimasi second still. A little bit of a correction there from Shimasi on the steering wheel as he went through there. And the gap now up to 7 tenths as Julian got the pace to pull away from Shimasi here. Has he finally found a rhythm? Slowish at the start of the Grand Prix, unable to keep with Shimasi. Reeled him in, Shimasi made a mistake, and now Julian is in the lead of this Grand Prix. Well, it's only lap 11. Plenty of things can happen over the next few laps. And at the moment, we're on for a surprise result. Julian, pole yesterday, and now leading the Mexican Grand Prix in fine style here today. Don't go anywhere, folks. This promises to be a thrilling race. Chicken as well, trying to get himself involved. He's around a second behind this group. As is that a move from Shimasi? No, that's Julian putting a move on Ash Richardson, who's of course a lap down now, and is not actually there. It's his AI just driving him round. And is Shimasi now going to line them up? No DRS, remember, in these damp conditions here in Mexico. Down into turn 4. Has he got a potential move on? No, but he breaks a little bit later than Julian. Let some noise there. Julian a little bit deep into the corner. Shimasi again tries that line to try and get a good exit, but again, not close enough. Going through turn 6 and 7. Now climbing up through the gears towards turn 8. And again, it gets pretty much single file. The dirty air takes effect. And you'll see Shimasi start to struggle, start to drop away from Julian. And almost immediately, that Red Bull just flies off into the distance and makes things very tricky for Shimasi. And again, it's just so frustrating. He now needs to close up again over the next few laps, the next few corners, and try again into turn 1. But there is another battle beginning to form between Diego and Tyne again. These two already have given us some fireworks in this Grand Prix, and maybe we'll be doing so pretty soon once again in that battle for 5th and 6th. But we have to really go back to that battle for the lead, as Julian a little bit wide in that final corner. Was he there? I think he might have been, but Shimasi even more issues there as Chicken comes into the pits, interestingly. So does Chicken feel it's time for a new set of intermediates, or is he going dry? So I wouldn't have thought so. It's still raining out there, so a brand new set of inters for Chicken, and a possibility here to try and get the undercut on Julian and Shimasi. Away goes the Sauber driver. Clockwork stop, beautiful stop from the Sauber team. Now, the crucial question for Chicken, if he wants the undercut, he needs to be out in clean air, and that is exactly what he's come out into. 8 seconds, 9 seconds in front of him is time. So is this an opportunity here for Chicken to jump the pair of them? It's very difficult to overtake, as I've mentioned. The thin air makes it tough, and the slipstream will be minimised. And not only that, there's no DRS in damp conditions. So is this a great opportunity for Chicken to gain track position and try and hold off Julian and Shimasi as Diego and Tyne do battle again? And here we go, we've enjoyed this one. Is Tyne still ahead? He thwarts Diego Killer once again. And again, Diego is going to have to try something special to find a way past that Williams driver, who made a good move on him earlier in the Grand Prix. But Shimasi's very close to the back of Julian, only 2.5 tenths between them now. Julian really under a bit of pressure here. Shimasi has a little look up the inside of the stadium section. Again, the fans are on their feet down there. Listen to the noise. Brilliant stuff between the two. Round the final corner. Are any of them thinking about a pit stop here? Nope, they're continuing on their way at the moment. Now Shimasi closer than he's ever been going down the start-finish straight. Nor is he. He's dropping back a little bit. And once again, all that promise, all that expectation that was building there seems to have just crumbled away, and Julian continues to hold them off going into turn 1. Remember, of course, folks, you can vote as we're getting towards the halfway point in this Grand Prix. You can vote for your driver of the day, or let us know in the comments who you would have as your driver of the day. We're not halfway yet, so I'm not going to open discussion about it for myself, but let us know who do you think's doing a good job as Tyne and Diego Killer yet again do battle. Tyne again frustrates Diego Killer, who will be getting extremely frustrated looking at the back of that Martini logo on that Williams. He's very, very late in the brakes. Oh, it looked like he was going to swipe into the side of Tyne there. And somehow there is no collision. There's checking now. It's close 4 seconds in on these two while they've been battling over the last few laps. Quite incredible. And is Diego Killer going to find a way past Tyne soon, because his race is getting increasingly frustrating. We've only got a 10 between the leaders. Oh, we've got Shimasi going past. He takes the lead back from Julian. The Dutchman has been overtaken, and once again down at the stadium section, the fans are loving it. Shimasi, your championship leader, strengthens his grip once again on that World Crown. He takes the lead from Julian, who must have made an error. And there you go. Is Julian able to come back though? He looks like he's got extreme straight line speed there. Can the Red Bull dive back up the inside? Shimasi feels the need to get defensive on the run towards turn 1. Here goes Julian. He tries to sweep round the outside on the brakes. It's to no avail. And Shimasi looks to be back into the lead of this Grand Prix. Checking though, look at that. Brand new fastest lap. He's already caught Tyne and past Tyne. Oh, Tyne's in the pits, that's why. You said of intermediates going on there. We're back at the front. Julian and Shimasi back in the lead of this Grand Prix. Julian must have made a small error, and Shimasi didn't need a second invitation. He dances back into the lead of this Grand Prix. Julian down to second. Pitmat now only 6.1, 6 seconds off the lead. He's slowly whittling the gap down. Can he still get involved in this and make a race of this? I'd be very surprised, but we have to go to Chicken, who is flying out there at the moment, the fastest man on the racetrack by a mile. And the moment Shimasi and Julian come in, Chicken's going to be the leader of this race, I would think. I'd be very surprised if he does not lead this Grand Prix, Chicken, when the pit stops are made. That's if these guys feel the need to pit. I would have thought the intermediates would require at least one pit stop. And as I can show you now, most drivers have opted for the one stop so far. Some of them have, some of them yet to make a stop, but going by that graphic, you would think everyone would need to make a stop, given there have been pit stops in the opening 16 laps. We still have 20 laps to go, so I think it would be almost certain we're going to have some pit stops as Julian again gets close to Shimasi. He does seem to have a little bit of straight line speed there, a straight line speed advantage, I would say, on Shimasi, and he's lining it up beautifully. Look at the exit he's going to get here. That was great intelligence there from Julian to line that car up into a position where he wasn't going to have to tap the brakes. And now Shimasi gets very defensive. Here comes Julian. Can he sweep right round the outside and make the World Championship leader think again? It looks like he will. The Flying Dutchman dances past Shimasi and takes the lead back again. Absolutely titanic battle between the two. 1 minute Shimasi makes an error, Julian goes through. The other minute, another error from Julian, Shimasi back through, but this time it was classy stuff. Right round the outside goes the Dutchman, back into the lead, and Shimasi's championship hopes again go back into the question, because now Pitmat is catching them. His championship rival is up into third place and gaining on these two now as they continue to battle. Can Shimasi find a way back through? Let us know what you thought of that move in the comments, folks. It was a beautiful move. Here they go again into the stadium section. Lap 16 out of 36. Julian and Shimasi, a titanic duel up into this point. The championship leader taking on the young pretender. Who is going to do it as Shimasi bails for the pits? Julian carries on. So where will Shimasi be in relation to that man there, Chicken? That's the big question. Pitmat's copied his championship rival and pitted as well. Chicken, I would think, is going to be in the lead of this race when Julian comes in too. We'll find out. Can use this as a gauge here. Remember, Chicken was the earliest of the stoppers at the front of the field. Where is Shimasi? He's coming down the pit lane now. Chicken's already gone past him into what you would feel is a net lead. And there's a ripple of applause down at Sauber They know they're going to have their man with track position in this Grand Prix with a chance of winning it, but he's going to have seriously worn tyres at the end. His rivals, you would feel, are going to be on him come the finish, but it is Julian now, the Dutchman, in the lead. Will he come in to try and cover off Shimasi? I think he's too late to cover off Shimasi, you know. I really do. I think Shimasi, by coming in when he did, has got this in the bag. Unless Julian thinks he can go all the way on these inters to the end. I wouldn't have thought so though. That would be a tall order. But he is drifting that Red Bull through that middle sector and not looking after the tyres at all doing that, are you? So here comes Julian then through that final sector. What will he decide to do? Will he come into the pits on this lap? Remember, first ever pole yesterday in qualifying. Can he get a first ever win to back it up? It would be a potential hat-trick, I believe, if he can go on to get the fastest lap, but he continues on. So how much longer will Julian leave it? On to lap 18 now on these tyres. Will he do 18 and 18? This is the halfway point. Will he do 18 on these and then another 18 on these? Maybe that's what his intentions are. Chicken is now ahead of Diego Keller. He's passed him with ease and is now going to be hunting down Julian in the next few laps, and Julian will realise that. He might consider a pit stop now. Half distance on each tyre seems like a reasonable thing to do, you would think. As Chicken continues to haul him in, but Julian out in the lead at the moment. He's got to consider a pit stop on this lap. Let's have a little look at the stops graphic. Only Julian and Diego Keller yet to make a stop. Everyone else has, and that's why Chicken is now your net leader as a result of that early stop, around 4 or 5 laps earlier than Shimasi, and that's why he's ahead of him by around 6 seconds. So Shimasi will be hoping to work that gap down, use that tyre life advantage that he's got to get back ahead of Chicken. But as you've seen in this race so far, overtaking chances are very, very small, very few of them, but we have seen some great racing in this race despite that. There has been some great action, particularly Julian and Shimasi, and tying as well with Diego Keller. Those guys have provided us with some great action up until now, so here's hoping we can have more of the same. As Julian does now pit, so he's decided it is time to come in. Half a race on each tyre seems like the best bet for him as he comes down the pit lane. What will Julian go on to? A brand new set of the inters. Look at the ones coming off there. Did you see that, folks, on the camera? Look at those tyres just coming off the car. They were shot to pieces. And here comes Chicken into an easy lead. There you go. There's the pit lane exit. There goes Julian. There goes Chicken. He's made the undercut work. 4 or 5 laps. Where's Julian in relation to Shimasi? He is still ahead. So Shimasi must have had a bit of a nightmare trying to get past Diego Keller, maybe. Oh, that's worked out terribly for Shimasi to be behind Julian. And that suddenly gives Julian a real opportunity to win this race. Fresher tyres and track position on Shimasi. The question is though, can they catch Chicken and can they overtake Chicken? It's not going to be easy. We've said how difficult it is to overtake, but we are going to be in for a fantastic finale to this Mexican Grand Prix, so do not go anywhere, folks. Let us know in the comments, who do you think will win it? Is it going to be Chicken? Is it going to be Julian? Or is it going to be Shimasi? We've got a yellow flag out there. We've got Looney in the wall, and that is a very strange place to crash. There's a lot of runoff area down in that stadium section. I do not know how Looney's managed that, but the number 80, the Mercedes driver, is out of the Mexican Grand Prix, and Toto Wolff will not be best pleased with that. His race is over, so Looney out. There'll be no points scored for him. A bit of a disastrous. Chicken picks up a 3-second time penalty. That might haunt him. That might come to haunt him come the end of this Grand Prix. We will find out though. There is plenty of time for other drivers to get time penalties. But look at Shimasi here, all over the back of Julian. You'd have thought Julian on those fresh tyres would have been up to speed, but no. A little bit cold, not up to the rhythm maybe yet. Getting back out onto the racetrack, and Shimasi, while Julian's not in a rhythm, is on his tail. Meanwhile, Pitmat is setting a new fastest lap behind these two. You'll be praying for an accident here. Shimasi dives up the inside. Can he complete the move? He can! Up at the second place goes Shimasi. Can he get after Chicken and go on and win this race and tighten his championship grip? He moves past Julian. Can the Dutchman retaliate? It's going to be a tall order from that far back. Shimasi makes the move. The tyre temperature was there. The confidence was in the car was there, and he moves up into second place, and all of a sudden Chicken drops. We'll start to be looking at his mirrors, I would have thought, because Shimasi's coming very, very quickly. Diego Killer picks up a 3-second time penalty, but can Shimasi now close in on Chicken? Maybe Julian was trying to nurse his fuel level. That might have been why Shimasi found a way past his Diego Killer in time. I've swapped places. Time must have made an error because he's that far ahead of him already, Diego Killer. And then race long battle continues. I don't think that one's over in the remaining 16 laps, that's for sure. So Diego Killer versus Time, that will be one to watch as the race unfolds. Diego versus Time, but Diego now has the upper hand in that battle. Can Julian come back at Shimasi? It doesn't look like it at the moment. He's in a phase of looking after his tyres, keeping an eye on his fuel. Maybe the moment will come later on, but at the moment Shimasi unable to catch Chicken. The gap stabilising at around 6 seconds. Has Chicken pulled off a masterclass here? Have Sauber pulled off a masterclass to put their man on top and on course for a victory here? But he does have a 3-second time penalty, so his margin has been reduced somewhat. So lap 21 out of 36 here in Mexico, round 18 of the World Championship. It's been an intriguing race up till now. I think that's the best word. Intriguing, exciting at times. And we don't know who's going to win this Grand Prix. Will it be Chicken, who leads this one after an early pit stop for a brand new set of inters? A 4 or 5 lap undercut on Shimasi, who also tried to undercut Julian. It did not work, but he then found his way back in front. So these two behind will be hunting Chicken down. They do have a 4 or 5 lap tyre advantage, and that will begin to tell as the race goes on. Then it's Pitmat in fourth, trying to keep his championship hopes alive. At the moment he's not doing himself any favours. He needs to close in on Shimasi and overtake Shimasi really to have a serious chance in this World Championship. You feel the gap's at 13 at the moment. Right now he's going to lose a further 6 points to his championship rival, and the gap would go up to 19, meaning it would be very, very difficult, an uphill battle to go on and win this title from here. So Pitmat, he is fourth, Diego Killer is fifth. He's been in a race long battle with Tyne in sixth, and those two have kept things very exciting in the midfield. Jacob Stowe is a long way back from those guys in seventh. Then it's OTG on his own in eighth, picking up 4 World Championship points. Then a long gap back to Lamaro, who's a lap down in ninth, and Ash Richardson, who's just driving around as his AI at the moment. And Ted Looney crashed out. GG, I'm not sure. Matt Meerkat out too. Stephen retired early, and the 2 Haas drivers were out immediately. And we've lost Tyne. Oh no, Tyne on the start-finish straight, I think that is. And he must have lost the rear end coming out of the final corner. And the Williams driver, who was getting us in a race-long battle with Diego Killer, is out. The left front tyre dangling by a thread. Tyne is out, and away throws 8 World Championship points for the Dutchman. He will be furious with himself. A real shame. And that moves Jacob now up into 6th position. Now a look at that one there for Tyne. It looks like he's just going on the throttle a little bit too early, I would think. Lit up the rear tyres and collided with something rather firmer than his front wing. I would predict the pit wall going by that. And Tyne out of the Grand Prix, and we're down to just the 9 runners now. So that's a shame. Tyne's race cut extremely short due to a driver error. Will anyone be able to stop Chicken though out front? The gap around 5 seconds now. Shimasi slowly cutting and slicing it down, but is he going to do it quick enough? 13 laps to go. Chicken still with the upper hand. And 5 seconds the gap between the two. Julian now dropping back a little bit from Shimasi. I don't know what's going on there for Shimasi. Why is he dropping back so much? Potentially some fuel saving still going on there. Just looking after the tyres. Is he playing the long game? Or has he just not got the pace in the car at the moment? Something not working at all for Julian at this stage, and really struggling to keep pace with Shimasi. But he has to keep his head, keep his focus. There is still an opportunity. A real opportunity, I should say, for a first ever victory here for Julian off the back of a first ever pole position. We'll have to wait and see. If someone in the comments has said this is the best SRL race they've ever seen, well, I tell you now, if you think this is the best one, you should watch Monza from this season. That was an absolute storm of a race. If you get the chance, go back and watch